Hello there. I'm going to do a quick video here to show you a little bit more advanced scheduling. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is I found a more efficient way to do it, and I wanted to share it with you. Now that we've used the software for a couple of years and I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, it makes sense to show you some of the advancements and simpler ways to do the same exact thing. Okay, so under schedules, first things first, you need to add event rooms. Now, the interface you're looking at here is for the state conference, so it's a lot more students, it's a lot heftier schedules and so forth, but here we go. First thing you got to do is create rooms so that when you're going in to set up the events, you know where they're holding, prepping, and having their presentations. Okay, so that's pretty simple stuff. Now I'm going to come in and set up event schedules. And I should say to you right quick, you can set up all schedules all at once, which I don't recommend you do because every single type of category has different parameters, and we don't really have an all or none for teams and writtens, and sometimes the breaks are here, sometimes the breaks are there, so that really doesn't help you. However, if you're doing the same exact schedule across the board for your district conference, give that a go and see how it works. So here I am in here. I'm going to go ahead to a individual series event to kind of show you how this works, and then I'll also do a team event so you can see the difference. So you've got sections. Sections mean judge, okay? In here, there's a role play in the morning that starts around 9 o'clock, and then there's a role play in the afternoon that starts at 1 o'clock after lunch, okay? I would strongly recommend when you're in here that you as a team decide how much of this you want to do. It's cumbersome. Come in here for every single category and say, this prep room is here, the presentation room is there. Student doesn't really need to know where they're presenting. They need to know where to go for their holding and to prep, okay? So that's why I haven't taken the time on every single category to go ahead and populate those fields. As long as the student knows where they're going to hold before they prep, that's all that you need for the name tags, etc. Okay. Please also note that I put Judge A, B, C, D, and the acronym. I just find it to be more organized. If there's a situation moving forward, you know exactly who's who. You can go back to that specific judge, and it just makes it more organized as a whole. Okay. So now I can view this schedule, and this interface is, I'm not a fan. I've been staring at it for too many hours, so that's probably part of it. But you know, it's easy to read and so forth, but it's not as organized as this other method that I want to share with you guys, okay? Inserting breaks, just to remind you, come in, you tell it when the break is, you tell it how many minutes, but be cognizant of if you have two role plays, is it in the morning session or the afternoon? Because it won't question you if you put a 9 o'clock break in the afternoon session. It will just screw up your schedule, so focus on that, okay? So now I'm going to check for event conflicts right quick. When I'm in here, it divides all the students by judge, and it's a lot easier to read, okay? The disadvantage on the individual events is that it doesn't tell you the school that they're from, it reveals their name, okay? You can kind of look at these codes, and after a while, you'll get used to your districts, which school is which, but that is a huge disadvantage of looking at it this way, because if you're looking at it from this viewpoint, you can straight up see who the schools are, okay? So that's that limitation. There's pros and cons to everything. Now, I want to also go over, in addition to placing them randomly by school, the other advantage that you have to keep things more organized. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So under event schedules, if I go into a specific category here and I want to look at the schedule, here it is. And I have this check for event conflicts that I showed you guys a few seconds ago. You go into there, it shows you Judge A in the first role play, Judge A in the second role play. For the most part, these should be identical. It does its best to disperse everything based on the test score, like I said earlier, as well as to keep the schedules consistent. So for some of you, this may be a disadvantage because you don't want, you know, the same kid to have the 9 o'clock and the 1 o'clock slot and then be done for the day. You want to kind of spread it out or whatever. And you can still do that. You can still come in and modify and drag these things around at will, whatever you want to do. Or if there are conflicts and kids need to leave early, it's very simple to just drag and drop and put them to the top of the list and so forth. Or if they're coming in late, dragging them to the last slot, whatever you need to do. Here's one thing that I neglected to show you that I need to do now. This piece right here, move to same section. When I click on it, essentially I'm telling the software to force Judge A's in the morning to see Judge A's in the afternoon. Okay? Now, they wouldn't physically see the same exact judge in person, just on paper. So what the director would need to do in the event is when they switch to the second event, take the Judge A name tag and switch it with Judge B, and take the Judge B name tag and switch it with Judge A. So essentially, even though on paper it says they're seeing the same judge, they aren't. They're seeing two different people, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Okay? So that's the simplest way to overcome this. So when I say that role play 1 sees role play 2, I'm forcing the schedule to make sure that every single kid in Judge A in the morning is seeing Judge A in the afternoon, and it will put them in the same exact order. So again, if you wanted to modify that and move things around, you can totally do that. Now for the team events, it looks a little bit different. So I'll show you a team event right quick here, sorry. Because the way that it organizes the student is by their school as a team. So in this interface, when you're looking at a schedule, this is the one that's a little bit congested. When I check for event conflicts, it's going to tell me straight out where they're from. And it gives me that team ID that makes it so much easier in the tab center to qualify who's with who and which team this rubric actually came from. And then you can see all of the different sections and where these kids ended up. You can still come in and drag stuff around, okay? Very, very simple to do by section. And then again, these are all assembled by how they did on their test score randomly, okay? So you can come in and modify it however you like based on that. You can create a new save point so that you know exactly how you saved it at this specific point, or if you get to a point where you just don't like the way that you moved everything, you can just go ahead and restore it to the last time you swapped things out, and it's going to go back to that last successful save very, very quickly, okay? You may need to click refresh along the way depending upon what it is that you changed in your save points, but it's web-based software. You should be refreshing as you go anyways. All right, last thing that I'm going to show you guys is, well, there's two last things. When you're in the conference reports, you can click under conference reports here before the scoring reports happened, and you can click and do sign-in sheets. So for the event, I'll go to the ASM one that I've been working with. You can run a quick report and sort by however you like. Now, typically when you have runners or teachers that are checking kids in, you want everything separated by section and time. And you can do a page break by the section, so every judge will have its own sheet, okay? In addition, this one has a little signature doodad built into the PDF. I like doing the change it to a check-in, check-out report. And you can say that you don't want to click the school name too if that's an issue, or you want to make sure that these kids are anonymous. I should have said that earlier. When you run that report, it tells you straight out the order, the judge, the time, because it's sorted by section and time, and where they check into. And you can write the times in there and hand this in when you hand in all of your rubrics at the end of the session. Okay? Last thing I'm going to show you guys is when I'm done, I may want to export this into Excel because it's our comfort zone. We can sort in there. We can see things all at once. And for years we did this conference using Excel. So I know a lot of you are more comfortable looking at it in Excel than this new software. So you can go ahead and export whatever you like. I'm going to export the event schedules here. One's team grouped and the other was all individual records. And then when I export it, it will take a bit of time. So I'm going to pause the video right quick. Once it completes the export, it has two different schedules. You can click and export it out. Okay, I've done this a couple of times, so it's in there. I'll just go ahead and save it. puts it in your downloads directory. When you click on it, there's everything you'd ever want to know about this schedule, sorted by all of the different categories, all the names, the breaks are even in here. So at this point, you could come in and come into your filters. You can sort by however you want to do it, by abbreviation, by school, by whatever, and all that data is right there for you at the tip of your fingers here. Okay, done for today. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thank you so much.